So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another scene for Darkness in Dublin, the Changeling menu, where we have Bambi. Set dreaming side. Pepper is actually trotting along to one of the quarantine zones because, well, she is looking for not Sir anymore. She has to remember to drop the Sir, but for Crib, the good Baron, who has done a lot of work with the ill, and honestly, she doesn't know where else to look for him. So it kind of makes sense that she would carefully enter one of the quarantined areas. Um, Definitely cautious, but nonetheless looking for the good Baron there, wherever he may be, whatever he may be doing.
You find Crib at one of the quarantine zones as he is using a crystalline knife to etch something into the walls, perhaps as a bunk. And you will see him in his tree beardy ways chisel, chisel, chisel.
She will probably, she can be heard clipping up the little hoofies. But she will give him some space, at least initially. She'll hang back just on the off chance this is a bunk and she doesn't want to disturb him from whatever he's working on. So she will hang back, one hoof lifted up to idly scratch at the opposite leg, doe ears pricked up attentively, but hanging back for the moment, waiting for him to finish.
He finishes carving in the symbol of a tree around the door, and there's an explosion of glamour as he releases a cantrip, and the air is charged with regenerative properties.
Ooh. And at that point, she'll clip a little closer. Still kind of hanging offside a bit, but kind of glancing around to see if he's immediately looking with purpose to another step in whatever he's working on. Kind of pokes her head around.
No, but he does throw some seeds onto the ground, and they begin to bloom and spread.
Remind me what the proper term is for addressing a baron.
Lord Works,
Okay.
Baron, or Baron.
So yeah, once he's scattered the seeds, they've begun to kind of blossom and grow, unfurling leaves and petals. She'll poke her head a little further around. Baron Crib.
He will look. Oh, Miss Bambi, can I help you?
Actually, I was going to ask if I could help you.
Well, they're always. We can always use help.
I've had a knack for healing for a while now, and I'm finally learning to purify as well. I thought perhaps, I know you put hard work into this, but maybe another set of hands? The ears kind of tip up just the tiniest bit, kind of in a hopeful way.
Well, we are. He gestures. Magically sustainable for the moment, but really, what is needed is supplies.
I have a very small holding. I could bring what little dross it yields me, both for you and for those inside who can't go and gain glamour on their own anymore.
No, we. Sadly, glamour gains must be kept to a minimum here. Those infected cannot have a large supply of glamour in their bodies.
Does it make it worse?
Yes.
Does it just risk it spreading?
Both.
Oh.
Both.
One little cloven hoof will kind of dig awkwardly at the dirt. I don't have much else I can offer except comfort, and I don't know how safe it is to be close. But I'd be happy to give it if there was some way of inoculating or
Sadly,
shrouding.
there isn't much we can do. Once someone becomes infected by the typhoid, their own glamour turns hostile, and they lose their glamour consistently. And it sheds off as horrific gangrenous dross that infects all creatures of the dreaming with that same contagion. So the more glamour they have,
Do they have enough to sustain them?
they have enough to not slide into the forgetting.
There's a nod. She'll chew idly on her lip, glancing up again. I don't know. I thought it would be of interest to you, Fragrar, and some of us. We saw where we think this actually comes from. I don't think the typhoid's making it. I think it's just spreading it.
Well, it is a process of the typhoid.
I know that the typhoid is spreading it, but we've seen evidence that this has happened before.
Yes, with every typhoid.
I don't know. There weren't anything in the story about a typhoid. Just that the dragons got the rot like this.
Crib will kind of sigh, and he'll walk to the edge of the quarantine zone, and he'll wave his hands, and 2 chairs and a small table appear, and he will sit in one of the chairs and motion for Bambi to sit in the other.
And yeah, she kind of tentatively,
These get grown out of the rock and the surface.
I mean, this never fails to impress, naturally. So she'll tentatively clip over and slide into the seat. Sits very lightly.
How familiar are you with what the Dantain are?
I don't have a memory per se. I just know that Frograr has a very good one. And when he saw the same thing that I saw in the place that the dragons ran to, after the She chased and killed them, it showed something like this. He says it was a rot that got into their scales and into their eggs. It killed too many. It kept their young from hatching. They were too weak, too sick. There's a graveyard where the ones that were stricken by this were laid to rest. It was the only way they could get rid of it was to make sure that those who died infected all went to the same place and that no one came near it again.
That is contagion. And Crib will point to a rock kind of off just at the edge of the cave that is covered in that same scale and mold. That rock carries within it the dreams of the sea, but it has also been infected. It has been touched by the typhoid's curse. Anything of the dreaming that rock comes in contact with will become infected, and then it will spread some more.
I know everyone is very convinced that it's made by the typhoid, but what if the typhoid didn't make the disease, just made it stronger and made it carry when it shouldn't have?
This is what happens when a typhoid is around. They spread their sickness and they infect, and it keeps going. This is always how it's been, much like every sunrise. To say the typhoid is not responsible for this is blind.
I don't mean that they're not responsible at all. No, the typhoid has done horrible things, and the typhoid will, of course, have to be dealt with, but what if this existed in a smaller way, even before the typhoid? What if some of it is left behind when the typhoid is gone?
Oh, that's the thing. When a typhoid dies, this infection doesn't stop. They are your patient zero. They are your filled envelope that gets everybody sick. And as long as everybody keeps showing up to work, everybody keeps getting sick, and it keeps feeding and festering.
Then how do we stop it? Getting rid of the typhoid is one step, but people will still be sick. And I hope that the hammer does everything that Titangel thinks it will, but I don't know that it will, and I'm not confident that it will. What else can we do?
It's one step of many. This, what I do here, keeps the disease at bay. Soon, when my skills are adequate and my reserves are deep, I shall purify all that are in the quarantine zones. And that will affect all of the dross and all commoners and all nobles. Anyone who is affected I shall purify. And then we move forward to purify the rest of the land. Swath by swath.
Is there any way I can help? Kills me not to be able to do anything. I know I'm not as common as I used to be, but these are still the same people I know.
I interact with those here indirectly. They're brought to the quarantine zone by others. The air here is a blessed well of life. Food gets dropped off, and then any of the shed clumps of mane, any of the dross that filters off of them is shoveled into a corner and locked in stone boxes so it may not spread any farther. And then that too shall be purified. But those here grow weary of fruits and vegetables, things that I can grow and provide in moss.
I know Rhiannon is selling food. Surely that's helping some.
That's helping some. And Rhiannon does all right. I am not a wealthy man. Those here grow bored and agitated. So I would suggest games, entertainment, additional food, various things. Apparently there are a few of them in here who are going to go ballistic if they don't get Indian food soon. I am no chef, and that is, as I understand it, not Rihanna's forte.
I can see what I can do. I don't really have money either, but I do have good friends.
But it's this is the problem. You cannot have the infected out in public lest the disease spread indefinitely. You keep people locked. You keep people in quarantine, and they accuse you of tyranny. The things people have called me for keeping them in a walled cave will haunt me. But they cannot leave, because we cannot risk a dreamer becoming infected. We cannot risk this dross just dropping off of them in public and infecting more of us.
No, of course not. Are you sure that what you'll be able to do will cure them?
No. And that's a very matter of fact, just a nope.
The level of doe eye is awe-inspiring. Just
It's a very matter of fact no. It's a No clue. But I have to do something.
Surely there's some story or legend that is of curing.
Hmm.
I'm sure that the hammer will deal with the typhoid, but we need more.
We do.
And if I knew what to look for, I would go and I would find it. But I don't know what story to follow. What dream of being free of disease, being in good health. Do I look for a river? Do I look for the Holy Grail? What do I look for that will help? Maybe that will give you the ability to make them whole again, make them clean again.
As I said, I plan on.
You've gotten kind of quiet.
As I've said, I plan to purify those here.
Like I literally can't hear you.
I have planned to purify those here. As my skills are up to par. I.e., once I get more Fey Realm, and another dot of Fey Realm, and another dot of Pyretics.
God, what level of pyretics is purifying?
3. Purify is 3.
Real fast, because I think I just bought mine up to that. I'm not sure. Nope, I just bought it up to 2.
Yeah, I have 2. And then all of Fey Realm. Need all of Fey Realm.
Jesus.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, probably just 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah. Yeah. And it's expensive.
Now, here's a quick question. Does unleashing, is that limited by what you are able to do naturally?
No, it's not.
But it would give you a much healthier dice pool, wouldn't it?
The thing is, with unleashing, your threshold of safety is equal to the number of dots of Artsim you have.
Oh boy.
So I could potentially unleashing could solve it, but if you roll more successes than your art, things go shenanigans and go out of control.
Oh boy. Okay. So, besides bringing games, bringing different foods, maybe instruments, maybe tools, give them something to do,
Mm,
and just
potential.
bringing others to play music outside, as long as it filtered in.
Limit the number of those who get close to limit the risk of exposure.
Of course.
The poor changelings. They're starved on glamour, but we can't risk giving them any more, allowing them to gain more, for then they would create more dross, or create cantrips that could drift out of control and could infect those around them, could infect those outside of the quarantine zones.
It's a very small but very pliant nod that he gets. I understand.
If they had enough glamour, they could weave a cantrip that could affect the air in a large area, provided they had the proper realms.
I didn't mean to give them glamour, just something to lift their spirits. Just music. Just pencils, paper, games. I'll bring pails of sand from the beach if I have to. Just something to make it easier. Something to make it bearable.
And I think and I would love for that. But if we allow the tools of creativity in, one could potentially use another as a source of glamour, to muse off of another changeling,
She
to
kind of
generate.
blinks a few times. We can do that.
Potentially.
I thought we could only take glamour from dreamers.
Dreamers, mortals, yourself. But if the stars align and people are diligent, and if they connect in just the right way, then all we have done is for nothing.
She takes to just chewing on her lip again. Eyes down on the table, just kind of mulling it over, processing. Again, it's a very small, very obedient nod he gets, an understanding, but obviously the answer doesn't make her especially happy, as one might predict.
And you can tell that Crib isn't particularly pleased either. He's making decisions that he has to, not because he wants to.
By any chance, are his hands on the table? Like his arms up, resting there.
Probably.
And call it an impulse, but whatever the case, after a moment or two of processing, she'll actually glance up and reach over, and her own hands are very small. I imagine the nails are a little thicker in her famine, but she still reaches out and just moves to take one of his hands and squeeze it lightly with both of hers. I do appreciate what you've been doing, even though it's hard, even though it's terrible.
It has not been cheap, and it has not been easy. I was making these hard decisions even before I became a baron, but I was the only one doing something. carving caves, enchanting air, fighting this disease when others sat idly. Either people who demand action for for something to take care of it, or people demanding that, well, no, it's just people from all sides consistently demanding that something be done and nobody doing anything. Nobles. Some ennobled going, it's not my problem. Other ennobled trying to help. Commoner kiths. Those without title demanding those with title do something, but give no instruction, give no aid, give no offer, give no idea. And then those blaming us for tyranny.
That's what scared people do.
Yes. But no one really taking any action.
Then I'll find something. It's good to know that you have a plan, and I hope it works. And I hope there's some way I can help you with it, if only to hold you up while you're doing it. But I think I have to keep looking for another answer. I don't know what to do, but I can't stand by and do nothing. And treating the symptom doesn't cure the problem, does it?
No. But healing them consistently, regularly, keeping this in not one, but two locations, making sure it doesn't lapse.
I couldn't possibly ask any more of you than you're already doing. You're already doing more than most. I dare say more than anyone else is. I just thought if there was anyone that I should ask that I haven't spoken to already, you have done the most. Perhaps you would have the best insight. Do you not remember any dreams, any legends, any tales of something that could cure anything? That could cure any disease, make anyone firm again?
There are plenty of legends, plenty of things out there. But most of them only work once, and on one. And on one creature. and then the magic's gone.
It's not enough.
Remember, we are the magic. We are the reason the Holy Grail exists. We are the creators of King Arthur. We are the Lady in the Lake. The tales you seek are not any size. The
What
things you
if
are seeking are only explanations for your memories.
what if and I'm sorry if these are foolish ideas. I don't know, but what if many, many dreamers could be moved to dream at once of the same thing? What if many, many people dreamed of some magical spring, something that could heal many? Would that be enough to make it real?
That's what I'm trying to create.
She nods. Lightly, thoughtfully.
We give dreamers the reason to dream. We give dreamers their shape and their purpose. We lead them in their prayers and their platitudes. Anything a dreamer could dream of, we can create. We just need someone with the skills necessary.
So, if many of us, you think, turned to our dreamers and tried to inspire these ideas,
He shakes his head. Because it's something you can already do.
I can heal, but I am not an ever flowing spring that can cure any ill.
Yet. That's the important part. Yet. The Holy Grail and its ability to heal any of the sick who drank from it. Is that not just a chalice infused with the well of life?
Yes, but the well of life cannot heal this.
But it can keep it in bay. Again, I am working on my skills of pyretics. I am learning the realms necessary.
I'm sure I'm not as advanced as you, but I've been trying to learn the same, hoping I could help.
Pyretics is a new thing. We tree folk tend to stay away from fire.
Oh, of course.
There's almost a snicker.
He manages to get just the tiniest upturn at the corner of her lips. She's still got her head kind of down, but she gets it. No, of course. Just there has to be something bigger, you know?
That's why we grow. We grow into the bigger thing. Could you imagine what would happen if the Holy Grail were to become infected by
That
this
kind
thing?
of takes her aback, like visibly. She kind of recoils at the thought.
If we let this get too close to ancient treasures and powerful artifacts, imagine the devastation that would have among the faithful.
Well, no, we couldn't. I was just so sure that there had to be something else bigger, something bigger than us that we could turn to, and without that, I don't know what to do.
And he'll lean in, he'll smile, he'll pat her on the cheek.
She's very blatantly on the edge of tears.
You get better. You throw yourself whole hog into something. You
Yeah,
learn new arts and new realms. You evolve and you grow.
I've done nothing but study, but it never feels like it's enough.
It all gets that way. Eventually you feel the roadblock, but just keep studying. At some point, your talents, the things you have mastered, will be needed, and you shall shine like a beacon in the night. Now may not be your time, but soon.
It's never been about me. It's just. It hurts to know that I can't help. It hurts to see people suffer and see people die. And know that nothing I can do can make it stop. And nothing anyone that I know can do can make it stop. I don't care if it means appealing to something bigger than me. I don't care if I have to crawl on hands and knees as long as something makes it stop.
He'll stretch and like his joint, and you will hear his joints pop and crack. Somebody who has worked too hard. And his body just finally is starting to like, okay, we've stopped moving. We can stop moving.
She does glance up. She's reaching up to kind of brush under her eyes, catch the overflow before she makes a proper fucking display of herself. I really do appreciate everything you've done. And I don't think enough people have told you that. We do know. Even they know out here. Made sure of it. Oh, did your mic go out? Oh, you went out. Or I went out. Lag is happening. Oh dear.
Ha ha!
There
I'm
you
back.
go.
Yeah, chills.
Fantastic. I was hoping it was something a reset would fix.
Yeah, no, I was legitimately concerned that some idiot had hit our local internet hub with their firework.
That would be unfortunate.
Right?
Thankfully, no. I
But there's
believe
still more
we.
fireworks going kabang, kabang, kaboom.
Yeah, like they do. Freedom. America.
Sweet, sweet Markan freedom. It's got the
Oh.
best red, white, and blue sprinkles of all the freedoms.
So I believe we left off with him just kind of cracking himself out and Bambi trying to get her shit together, wiping tears off before they went down her face.
So, Crib, he stretches and the elbows, the shoulders, the knees pop as if someone who has worked far too long and been under far too much stress has the muscles have suddenly relaxed for at least a few minutes. Tribulations, atrocities, and horrors, things like what's going on, will take those of us. Will take us, those who survive, and those who try, and those who grow and learn. We shall be forged into better versions of who we are.
And if there's nothing I can do for them, is there anything I can do to help you? Not necessarily with this, but just because you are doing so much. You deserve something in return.
Look, and you'll see his eyes kind of go back and forth and pause it as he ponders. I'd really like a fucking pizza.
It startles her enough that she both kind of stares a bit of a laugh and actually manages to miss a tear or two in the process. It's from so far out of left field that she's not even remotely ready. A pizza?
I'm a farmhand. I work day jobs. I've got a low freehold that nourishes me and provides me basic food. I eat healthy, I eat good. I'm never without. But really, I just want to I've spent all of my money. I live in a fucking hole in the ground. I just want a goddamn pizza.
I think that is something I can do. At least that is something I can do. Do you even eat meats?
Why wouldn't I?
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know a lot of things. There's more that I don't know than things that I do. It seems like every day there's more and more things that I don't know.
I know I look creepy, and I know I look like a rose bush or a tree or a entire forest, but part of me is still human, and part of me likes marinara, mozzarella, and pepperoni.
I can get you a pizza. I can do that much.
As strange
You
as
know
it
what?
is, don't
Hmm?
forget that you're human.
I don't. I don't forget to go back to the people that I know and to do the things that I love. But you know, she starts kind of getting up out of the seat, and of all the silly things, she kind of picks herself up, and she needs a second to do this, but she kind of picks herself up and puts herself together a little bit, and she walks around this table. And unless he's going to do something to stall her or stop her, she's going to throw her arms up around his neck and offer him a very sincere, very tight hug.
He will
Just
hug
laden
back.
with appreciation.
He will hug back.
And when she finally loosens up a bit, she'll probably still end up keeping an arm up, but, drops the other hand to wipe at her cheeks some more. I think it's so easy to forget the simple things, the good things. But if what you want is a pizza, I'll make sure I bring you the best pizza.
Why, thank you.
A wry little smile. Thank you, Kurt.
Actually, it doesn't even have to be good. Bad pizza also satisfies.
That's fair. I've had many a satisfying bad pizza. That's that's something. It's a little late now. There's probably not any place worth having that's open, but I'll bring you a pizza.
Thank you.
And she finally kind of shyly extracts the other arm, still rubbing at her cheeks. Finally gives them a bit of a pat as though to wake herself up, kind of zap herself out of it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for taking the time to answer my questions, Crib.
You're welcome.
And the next time there's something you want, something that will help at least a little, just let me know, okay?
Indeed.
Okay, I should probably go and let you do whatever you need to do. And be back tomorrow.
I'll be at the other colony tomorrow.
Okay. I'll go there then. And she kind of nods to herself a little bit and starts kind of turning to kind of bumble off. Definitely a little shaken by the whole conversation, but at least looking a little better after the pizza comment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she'll kind of bumble off and let Crib do his shit. Even if his shit right now is just sitting down for the first time today.
And Crib goes back to being Crib.
Doing his Crib thing.
Yup.
Well, I dare say that is probably a good place to call it. I will say thank you,
Indeed.
players, for playing, watchers for watching, and we'll see you next time on Darkness in Dublin, the Changeling.